Hello again, my name is Abel Rojas for the Department of Educational Media. Today we're going to be talking about SharePoint. What is SharePoint? Well, in a nutshell, it's a traditional intranet site sharing suite. What does that mean? Well, it's pretty much, for our purposes, an amalgamation of all of the information that includes professional library resources, login credentials, vendor contact information, and even your TL and LMA notebooks. In a nutshell, it's the bridge that connects Teams and Outlook using all of Microsoft apps. So let's go ahead and get started and look at EdMedia's SharePoint pages. There are actually two. The first is the LMS K-12 SharePoint page. This serves as an information, communication, and file depository for the LMS K-12 Outlook group, which every single one of us is a member of. If you click on LMS K-12 navigation, for example, you will see a few links that are not necessarily in Outlook, such as Staff of EdMedia, professional library information, and information for the LRC. But there are three links too that you should be noticing that will connect you to other parts of Office 365. There's LMS K-12 on Outlook, which will take you to the Outlook group itself, just as you would see when you're opening your email in the mornings. Let's go back, and similarly, by clicking on either of the notebooks, you'll have access to the notebook that you work with on a daily basis. The second SharePoint page, unlike LMS K-12, is called a standalone site. The reason it's called that is because as much as information as there is, it's not really connected to anything. That is, I cannot get to LMS K-12 from here unless I am part of LMS K-12 and I would see it on a sidebar somewhere. With that said, all of the information here is available and ready to be shared with other educators. For example, the professional library site looks slightly different than what you might be used to because, again, none of it has the shared information that's provided on LMS K-12. Instead, this is generic information. Same with staff information. It's a very general overview of what we do and who we are. And our training and support resources are more geared towards staff or even student use in some cases. So, that kind of gave you a primer of what these two sites are. However, how do we even get to them? Well, let's start from scratch. I'm going to close that window. All of you should have this fancy little icon on your desktop, the DCSD Office 365 portal. When we double click on that, we're taken to Chrome, and this is by design. I cannot pick which browser it is. So I click on my e-number. This should all be very standard fare for you all, as you've all logged into your SharePoint pages on a daily basis. We are taken actually to the district's SharePoint page, which is the information hub for all of us. I click on our app launcher or waffle, and I click on SharePoint. This actually takes me to a list of SharePoint sites that I might be subscribed to or that might be relevant to my needs as a member of the Department of Ed Media. Down here, you'll see that I have LMS K-12 as one of my options. I'm going to open that in another tab. And I have the DCSD Ed Media site. These are the two sites that you saw at the beginning of this video. So that's one way to get to these two pages. But there is one additional way that you can get to LMS K-12 that might be slightly simpler. I'm going to open up my browser this time, and I actually am going to type out dcsd.sharepoint.com. This also serves as a way to get me back to the main page. And from here, I'm actually going to go into Outlook. This should look very familiar. Scroll down to your groups. I'm going to go to the LMS K-12 group. Rather than have to worry about where can I find it or what's the URL, here under the ellipses, you'll find the site icon. Clicking on that takes you to the LMS K-12 SharePoint site. And again, you're able to find information including the DCSD professional library page that you might be more familiar with that includes information about the interlibrary loan, as well as, let's go back to the start, as well as EdMedia's YouTube channel. which has a lot of tutorials for you all to learn, and will eventually include this tutorial on SharePoint. I hope this has helped you better understand the nature of SharePoint, and if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me through Outlook by looking for my name, as I'll show you here. You can always find me under Abelardo Rojas.